Hi guys. Okay, I'm feeling kind of nauseous. It's not from this or anything, it's just, I, I just feel kind of nauseous. I'm gonna keep it that way. So, I'm gonna do my best to see if I can get another hour in. Because, this may affect how I'm acting to this. Like, if you want me to keep reading through it, it may not actually come out. I may not be able to convey the emotions properly because, like, I feel kind of sick. It's not helping. Yeah, but I want to keep going because there's something in this part of the investigation that I want to try and get to, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it because it's really further in of this investigation. I will do my best. It is, what is it? October 23rd, 2:41 p.m. in the Naruhodo's legal consultation offices. I missed this room. It looks just as I remembered it. But come to think of it, it's only been 6 months since I last saw it, hasn't it? I made sure to leave it just as it was, so it'd be ready for you if you ever returned. That's what I like to say, but it's only been 6 months.
But is everything alright with your papa, Susato-chan?
My father? That's right. It all happened 6 months ago, but wasn't the reason you were called back to the great Japanese Empire because your father sent you? That international... Wow. This is a mouthful. Okay, there's like... I need a comma somewhere. Wasn't the reason you were called back to the great Japanese Empire because your father sent you that international telegram that he collapsed from a mysterious high fever?
You were able to come back surprisingly quickly considering that.
As I told you in my letter, my father had lied to me. Oh, and the door is open again. He is in perfect health. Naturally, I was very relieved to find him so, but... Either way, I'm glad you're back. It was an unexpected set of circumstances that allowed me to return to England. It's all thanks to an international event known as the International Forensic Science Symposium. Thank you for the follow, Krabby Dost. Symposium. Lord Vortex mentioned that too. In any case, I'm glad to have made it back safely. After all, I still haven't managed to fulfill my promise to Iris-chan yet.
Huh?
Anyway, I want to hear all about what happened in Japan.
Certainly.
And one more thing. There was something you wrote in that letter that I'm really curious about. Whoa! The part about him. Asogi Kazuma. The cursed name!
Of course. I'll tell you everything I know.
Ooh, is that the stuff that... Ooh! Oh, look at all this stuff! That last one is about Asogi! Your return to England.
I was sure that after returning to Japan, that I wouldn't be able to come back here again. But, surprisingly, when that trial at the Supreme Court concluded, my father's attitude changed.
That trial? You mean the one where Giselle Bullitt was murdered, right?
Come to think of it, you dressed up like a boy for that trial, didn't you?
Yes.
Unfortunately, women are forbidden to enter the Supreme Court, so I had no choice. That's so cool! I wish I could have seen. I wish I could have seen it. Don't you, Naruhodō-kun?
I guess so. Maybe I would have liked to have seen it.
I'd like to try being a defense attorney too. Maybe I put on a fake beard or something.
I think the bigger issue would be that there's no way you could hide the fact that you're only 10 years old. There's something I'd like to confirm with you, Susato-san. The real reason that Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. Well, good night then, Krabby, as thank you for watching. The real, had some, oh, I lost my space. Okay, had something to do with the items that criminal had left in Soseki-san's boarding house, right?
Yes, it was because of that giant dog collar with the crest on it that we found. Apparently, Soseki-sama included a diagram of that crest in his report. And it seems that when my father saw the report, he went pale.
I wonder what that was all about.
My father spent approximately 6 years studying in England.
I was about to say studying in Japan.
The only thing I can think of is that something must have happened during that time. My father insists on hiding it from me. Then I'll simply have to find the answer on my own. That's why I decided I won't hide anything anymore. Susato-chan!
Susato-san is looking quietly at Iris-chan. I bet it has something to do with basketball. That's why she's looking that way. The International Forensic Science Symposium. Lord Vortex mentioned that this would be the largest international event of its kind, with 40 different countries involved in forensics coming together.
It was because of that event that my father and Judge Jigoku were invited here from Japan.
Jigoku.
Apparently, it's quite an honor.
Well, Professor Mikotoba is Japan's #1 authority on forensic medicine. The other person you mentioned, Judge Jigoku?
Jigoku Seshiro-sama. You met him before too, Naruhodō-sama. 1 year ago at the Supreme Court. Surely you remember.
When you stood trial in the great Japanese Empire's court. Yeah, it's just a fond memory now. Fond memory?
The judge who presided over that trial was the Honorable Jigoku Seshiro.
Jigoku. To be honest, I think I'd be happier if I never saw him again.
Well, in any case, my father accepted his invitation and permitted me to come along as well. My father won't be arriving until next month, but I couldn't wait. So I received his permission to come a bit early.
They're on a different ship. Well, anyway, apparently Lord Vortex is putting quite a bit of energy into preparing for it. The symposium, I mean.
Yes, it was Lord Vortex's proposal that caused this event to be held. It seems it was to be his signal achievement, so that he could become Great Britain's Attorney General.
Attorney General?
He intends to stand at the peak of the British legal system and create the world's greatest police organization.
That sounds great and all, but that also sounds kind of ominous.
My father said that was Lord Vortex's ambition.
Professor Mikotoba. I wonder if he knows Lord Vortex. Actually, he tried to tell me about that yesterday too, but I ended up passing out for most of it and don't remember much. 'Cause there was a lot!
Goodness, that sounds terrible.
The Giselle Bullet case. Giselle Bullet. Thanks to her twisted plan, I was made to take the fall for a crime I didn't commit and had to stand trial for the suspicion of murder of one Dr. John H. Watson. Giselle Bullet. I don't think I'll forget that name as long as I live.
In regards to that, it seems that you would be better off trying to forget.
Huh?
Following the incident, our nation's intelligence agency did some checking up on her. they discovered that the English woman known as Giselle Bullet does not exist.
She doesn't exist? Wait, what the heck does that mean?
Her real name was Sasha. Her exchange student identity was false as well.
Hey, Sasha. From that Morse code.
False? Then who the heck was she really? All the intelligence agency was able to dig up on her was that her name was A. Sasha.
Whoa. Even the game got excited.
As for why, and how she was able to infiltrate the great Japanese empire, that remains a mystery.
That's insane. It's not easy to gain exchange student status.
Just what sort of power did she have backing her in order to manage that? I don't know. The only thing I know for sure is that we have no idea what her goal was, and that's all.
She may have been killed, but sounds like not one of the mysteries surrounding her has been solved, huh?
Yes, unfortunately.
Hey, Sasha. Who on earth was she? I can't help feeling like I've heard that name somewhere before. You have, like 6 months ago! Asogi Kazuma. The cursed name.
After Haruhi-sama's trial concluded, the true killer, a newspaper reporter, told me something curious.
I know all about it. You're involved too, in that exchange student business. The people in this country have no idea. No one knows that exchange student lost his life on the steamship before he could reach England. And after that, he was never...
Naturally, I wasn't able to ask him more about it at the time, but after that, I paid him a visit at the detention center and asked him more about Kazuma-sama.
Did you find anything out?
During the crossing to England, Kazuma-sama lost his life, and his body was supposed to be unloaded from the ship at the port of Hong Kong, where it would be handed over to the embassy.
Supposed to be?
You see, Kazuma-sama's body never reached the embassy. Apparently, it vanished.
What? That's spooky! What? Asogi vanished? The plot thickens!
The Japanese government hid that fact and erected a gravestone for him on the cape of his hometown. But Kazuma-sama never made it back there.
Did Professor Mikotoba...
Yes, apparently he knew. But my father didn't tell me. They're still searching for Kazuma-sama's body.
Huh? My god. My god, indeed! Naruhodō. Naruhodō, no. I wonder why my heart's suddenly going crazy. No shit! The mystery about Asogi. Oh! You're getting good now. Thinking back. Oh wait, is this Naruhodō? Naruhodō. Thinking back, there was something weird about that case. We weren't allowed to see his body even once after that. It was extremely strange. I was one of those people back before DGS 2 was like announced. I was one of those people who was like, look, in every Ace Attorney game, we see the body. We never saw Asogi's body. Something's not right. Oh, I love it when my intuition is right. Where am I? I don't even know where I am now. What if he's still alive somewhere?
Please don't. You can't say such things so lightly. Usato-san. When I think about that, it makes my chest hurt so badly. There's one thing I'd like you to recall. When the murder was discovered, Holmes-sama was there too.
Holmes! Holmes! What'd you do, man?
Holmes-sama definitely investigated Kazuma-sama's body. You're right. If he had been alive at that time, that would mean that Holmes-san lied to us. But Holmes-sama would have no reason to tell such a lie. Well, that's true, I guess.
I'm really scared. I'm really scared.
Kazuma-sama might be alive somewhere. I allow myself to entertain that hope, and it ends up being incorrect. Then I'd have to experience that hellish pain all over again. I'm so afraid of that.
Susato-san. Oh, no, Susato, it's okay. It's okay. We won't talk about it again. This is Susato-san we're talking about. I'm sure she's given it plenty of thought. Maybe it's better if we just leave it at that. I want to hug her! I can't.
That was used to shoot down the hot air balloon, right?
Yeah, shooting arrows. What a dangerous weapon.
I have a fair amount of confidence in my skill with a bow.
Wow, really?
For instance, if you were to set an apple on your head, I could shoot that apple off with a fair amount of accuracy.
You know what I think? I don't think there's any need to put that apple on my head.
Now I can make tea for you again.
I'm not a fan of bitter things, but I like the tea Susato-san makes. But only if there are sweet treats to go with it. Toss bowl!
Normally I prefer to prepare matcha with Japanese sweets, but it's not really practical since we've been in London for so long.
I like chocolate with my matcha.
You're so naughty, Naruhodō-sama.
For some reason, she seems to be concerned about me.
The steam is rising quietly as usual.
For some reason, I just can't feel calm about it. We're burning charcoal in there, so there's no need to worry about gas.
But you must be careful to remember to open the window. If you keep it shut because it's cold, you could end up endangering your life.
Is there something dangerous about wanting to keep the room warm?
In any case, let's have some tea together later.
That's my desk. It's as perfectly and beautifully messy as ever. Beautifully messy!
I wish you'd tidy it already.
Here's what I think, Susato-san. The mess is a sign that my life is changing day by day. In order to properly enjoy that change, I'm purposely leaving it as it is. Naruhodō!
If that's the case, then I think that's even more reason to tidy it. Doing so allows you to enjoy life's changes anew to your heart's content.
I just can't out-argue her, even though I'm a lawyer.
That Daruma-sama still has one eye that hasn't been filled in yet.
Well, I mean, you were going to be the one to decide when it got filled in. Personally, I think it'd be okay if we fill it in right now.
This sort of chance doesn't come around every day. You should savor the anticipation.
Oh boy, are we looking at this? Yes, we are. That spade has been there since we moved into this room.
As I said before, it's not a spade, it's a shovel.
The large ones are spades, the little ones for gardening are shovels.
The large ones are shovels, the little ones for gardening are spades.
I guess this is round 2 of this unending debate. This is Susato-san's desk. I left it just the way it was so it'd be ready for her whenever she came back.
Wow, there's not a speck of dust on it. It's so clean. Did you keep it clean for me, Naruhodō-sama?
Yeah, couldn't stand seeing dust on your desk.
It's just the way I left it 6 months ago. I'm so touched. However, conversely, your desk is just as much a pigsty as it was 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's the way I like it.
Oh, your smile is strangely soothing.
Susato-san's private room is behind that door. I've never been invited inside, nor have I even gotten a peek at what's in there.
The only one allowed in that room is Iris-sama.
I wonder if I'll start hearing them laughing and having fun in there again. Oh, this is too much. This family's too precious. I can't take this. I can't take them all.
It took me almost a year, but I managed to write a long story based on the notes my papa left me. It's one of Holmes's stories called The Hound of the Baskervilles.
But Holmes-san forbid you from announcing it, and hid the manuscript somewhere where you couldn't get it, didn't he?
No one but Holmesy and I know about that manuscript. And yet, Susato-chan knew the title. What story is it, this Hound of the Baskervilles? And she wouldn't tell me how she knew it. Yes, I promised that I explain someday. I think I'm ready to fulfill that promise. Huh? I'm deeply sorry to have kept you waiting, Iris-sama.
Woo! New track! Nice! The Hound of the Baskervilles.
The reason I found out about it was total coincidence. It happened not long before we left Japan. I was cleaning my father's study. I noticed a large box of documents on the decorative desk. The label on that box had the following written on it in English: The Hound of the Baskervilles manuscript. Huh? My Baskervilles manuscript? Of course, I had no idea what it was. That's when...
Susato, what do you think you're doing?
Father!
Did you look at that?
No, I only saw the title.
Forget what you saw.
Huh?
You must never tell anyone that you saw it. Am I understood? What was Iris-chan's manuscript doing in the Great Japanese Empire? That's what I'd like to know.
I don't know. When I later heard the name Baskerville from Iris-sama, I unthinkingly let it slip out. I never imagined that might be one of Holmes-sama's unpublished stories.
Oh, one of my dogs trying to get in. Oh, I'll be right back. laughing with a salad indeed.
When I returned to Japan, I interrogated my father about it, but he refused to give me any answers. And a big box of documents had vanished from his study without a trace. I'm afraid that's all I know about it. I know that there must be a reason for all the secrets my father is keeping, but I decided I could at least tell you, Iris-sama, and Naruhodō-sama, what I knew. Thanks for telling me, Susato-chan. Now then, Naruhodō-sama, let us head out and investigate. I made myself memorize all the details of this case. And I heard about the case involving the wax museum from Iris-sama.
Whoa, you're really something, Susato-san.
It sounds as though we need to investigate Enoch Drebber-sama. He's the engineer who created that big magic prop device, isn't he?
Yeah. Apparently he's a swindler who's known in the magic world and the science world.
In that case, we'll simply have to nab that suspicious character.
True. It'd be nice if we could find him, even just to learn more about the secret circumstances behind this case.
You know how it is. When it comes to finding a missing person, that is better left to the police or a famous detective.
I guess we should ask him if he has any ideas. Well, we don't have much time, so we better get investigating.
Right. Well, good luck, you two.
Oh, you're coming along today? Wait. Oh, you're not coming along today, Iris-chan?
Nah, there's a herb market being held on Princeton Street today. You can tell me all about what you found today, okay?
Iris-chan strode off briskly and left. Okay. Whew. We're going to the detention center. No room, no. Yes. Whoa! Whoa, Benjamin! Same day, unspecified time, detention center, holding cell 11. What the heck is all this?
He's scribbled a bunch of detailed equations all over the walls.
He's still scribbling away on the back wall of his cell. Dr. Dirtpour, sorry to bother you while you're busy.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodō, and who might this young lady be? My name is Mikatoba Susato. I'm a legal aide. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Ah, if only I'd met a lovely lady like you earlier in my life. I sure wouldn't be in this mess now.
Well, maybe that's not true. I guess it doesn't really have anything to do with it, does it?
I'm not sure what to say besides I apologize.
Dr. Dirtpour, I'm sorry too, for the way things turned out today. I'm sorry I couldn't fulfill what you hired me to do.
No. Please, don't worry about that. It was all because I insisted on behaving so foolishly. By the way, Dirtpour-sama, what are all these equations for? Oh, you mean these? Well, it's kind of embarrassing, but it suddenly came to me, so I just started writing it all down on whatever I could get my hands on.
Oh, does this mean that you came up with a new idea? Like some new research data for your teleportation theory or something?
No, actually, this is my autobiography. Autobiography? How I Got Suckered In by Benjamin Dirtpour.
Not much, just dirt poor being dirt poor.
It's an ambitiously long formula detailing my odd and unfortunate fate, expressed mainly through odd numbers. I see. I have to find some way of paying back the money I borrowed to build that device, after all. Serialization. Serialization will begin starting next month. Equation 1. Born and raised.
That's a tiny book. In any case, I feel like I could learn a thing or two from his optimism. Anyway, would you mind letting us hear your side of the story once more?
Sure, please. Hear what I have to say. I was suckered in, I tell you. I trusted those two. By which I mean Mr. Conrad Kingsley and electrical engineer Enoch Drebber.
I hope he's not going to try to tell us everything he wrote in those formulas on the wall. Me too. Today's trial.
I feel like everything I thought I knew was turned on its head today.
Sorry.
My research. Mr. Kingsley. My device. My theory.
Benjamin takes a lot out of me. I'm so sorry. I had no choice.
Don't worry about it. What I should have been trying to defend weren't secrets. I honestly didn't intend to try to fool the world. We got a feeling that you weren't. But during today's trial, I realized.
Realize what?
Doing something wrong without knowing, and knowingly doing something wrong are that different. Ignorance is a heavy, unforgivable crime. Dirt poor Sama.
Dirt poor. Ah, dirt poor.
In today's trial, Baroque believed in my theory.
But couldn't that have just been facade for the prosecution to build its own case on?
He's not the sort of man who would do something like that. I think he truly believed in my theory.
Oh? I wonder if he did.
I feel like I understand now why he agreed to prosecute my trial.
Van Zeek's intentions.
When that huge accident occurred, neither the police nor the prosecutors, nor the defense attorneys, would believe my theory.
I can't help feeling like I personally gave his theory its final send-off.
That's why if anyone but Baroque had prosecuted my trial, then I'm sure my theory would have been pronounced trickery from the start. And if that had happened, it seems safe to assume that you would have been accused of being a fraud. Yes, that would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Baroque believed in me as a scientist to the bitter end.
So then, that's why he decided to prosecute?
I understand how he feels. He's always been very kind and considerate of his friends.
That's nice of him!
But that kind and considerate prosecutor seemed to be wearing quite the frigid expression as he declared you a murderer. Yes, I'm still a bit puzzled by that part.
But on the other hand, if the Grim Reaper's power is a real deal, then I wonder what he thinks about that contradiction. Exactly! Mr. Kingsley.
So then, he intended to deceive me from the very beginning.
Unfortunately, I think that's what we should probably assume.
When I first met him, I was told that he was an inventor who had access to tremendous resources. He looked at my paper and declared, "You must continue this research for the sake of humanity." He said it so passionately.
But in reality, it seems that he was the leader of a criminal organization.
I never dreamed that he could be that kind of person. If that device of yours was indeed a magic trick prop, it seems safe to assume that he didn't actually invest all that much in it.
But considering what a flashy experiment it was, it must have been a really outstanding trick.
We We young scientists all have our own theories and ambitions and brightly blazing hope. Yet, we're all depressingly poor. We long to research, and yet we can't. There are even those who take on second jobs that aren't exactly legal in order to earn funds to continue their research. To be taken advantage of and trick someone in a situation like that is like kicking them while they're down. That's exactly why I want to do anything I can to find that fraud. Now that Mr. Kingsley is already gone, the only one left is Enoch Drebber. Drebber the engineer. So he's not only a mechanical engineer, but he's also a magician and a fraud, huh? One day last year, Mr. Kingsley brought him to my lab. Since then, we met numerous times to plan out my device and discuss things. And you couldn't tell at the time that he was just a machine. Just a magician! What? That man is certainly not just a magician. What do you mean? First and foremost, he possesses genuine scientific knowledge. I am a scientist. A bit of flaw one, I could tell by talking to him. I see. That man is a loathsome person who simply wanted to take advantage of you. Hopefully we'll be able to drag him to tomorrow's trial somehow. But please, if you have any clues that might help us find him, then we need them. I'm sorry. The only thing I've ever talked to him about was the device, so... Ugh. But I guess there is one thing. I've actually been to his factory before. His factory? It's the big lab where Drebber built my device. Why didn't you tell us that sooner? Enoch Drebber's factory. If we go there, we might be able to catch him. The engineer's factory. So, you've been to Enoch Drebber's factory before, right? Yes. Just once. It was a huge lab, spacious enough for him to build my device inside of it. And just where is that factory? We'll go there ourselves. Maybe he's hiding out there right now. Actually, this is incredibly difficult for me to say, but I have no idea where that factory is. I'm so sorry. I was afraid you were going to say that. Well, see, I was made to wear a blindfold for the whole carriage ride. A blindfold? I was very cautious of him. But it was quite a remarkable factory. It was packed with cutting-edge machinery and equipment. Even the oil used was top-quality French-produced stuff that you can't even buy in this country. Ah, the indescribable, unique aroma of that imported oil! If only the women of the world could throw away their perfume and adopt that fragrant oil instead. As a woman myself, Benjamin, no. Well, Susato-san, you want to give some of that oil a try? No! I still have yet to try even normal perfume. Was there nothing that might have given you an idea about its address? For instance, a business card or a postcard. Oh, I just missed a line because he just jumped over it. No way. A cautious guy like that would never release stuff like... Come to think of it, he did give me his business card. Look! What? Pardon me! Wow, Susato-san snatched that up quick. I don't think the address will be there. Enoch Drebber, mechanical engineer. That's all it says. There's no address written on it.
Well, I didn't expect there to be. Maybe we should borrow it for the time being. Drebber's business card. Enoch Drebber's business card. The only thing written on it is his name, so we don't know the factory's address. Okay. Okay. Representing the armband. Oh, what a fascinating object! It's proof in the great Japanese Empire that the wearer is a defense attorney. I feel braced for anything when I wear it. I understand the feeling, but it's not very logical, is it? What do you mean? For instance, when I wear a lab coat, I feel like my whole body is in a brace. But there's a perfectly logical reason for that. Really? What sort of reason? It's because I accidentally brought my lab coat one size too small. It's especially tight in the sleeves. You call that logical? That's right. It's the very paragon of logic, Mr. Naruhodō. Sure. Sure. We're gonna leave you now. We can't go to Baroque's? Okay. Cool. Where are we going? Chief Magistrate's office. It's the same day Ooh, who is that? Same day, unspecified time, the High Court of Justice, Chief Magistrate's office. Huh? There's someone standing next to Lord Vortex over there.
I wonder who that is. I've never seen her before.
Hello there, folks. Well done on the trial this morning. Thanks to you, our government is in quite the stir right now. You mean over Dr. Dirtpour's device? Experiment at the London's World's Fair that everyone saw? The experiment at the London World's Fair that everyone saw turned out to be a hoax, after all. The government has been utterly disgraced. Apparently they're trying to run damage control now. Lord Van Zeeks should be on his way to the Whitehall right now to give an emergency report. Well, sorry for the trouble. You're not to blame. It's the government's fault for allowing itself to be deceived. That's all. The special provision for the protection of science and technology, which have been protecting the crime scene, will be lifted before the day is out. Once our scientific investigation unit gives the word, that hunk of scrap metal will be disposed of instantly. Scrap metal, huh? I'll be in touch later, Lord Vortex. Thank you for your hard work. She's gorgeous, though. Who is that? She's Scotland Yard's pride and joy. Chief Coroner Courtney Sith. She's taking command of the Scientific Investigation Unit in this case. Since she's a doctor, she was just giving me a report on the victim. The victim? Mr. Conrad Kingsley, huh? After receiving the results of today's trial, I sought the opinion of the coroner's office. If you want to know the results of the investigation, you should ask Dr. Sith directly. You ought to be able to find her in the forensic medicine lab. Alright then. So, what was it you wanted to talk about? I think I could spare, about 7 minutes and 39 seconds. Looks like he somehow managed to get his schedule caught up after his insane lateness the other day. Oh boy, I think I only have time for this, man. This is unfortunate. The Scientific Investigation Unit. So what was that Scientific Investigation Unit thing you mentioned earlier? The Imperial Police in the Great British Empire must be the best in the world. In order to ensure that, implementing a full-fledged scientific investigation unit was a matter of utmost urgency. That's why I've been working unofficially for the past year to create and prepare the Scientific Investigation Unit.
A whole year.
At next month's symposium, I will unveil the fruit of my labors to the world. At that point, there's nothing the House of Lords will be able to do to oppose the institution of the Scientific Investigation Unit. That achievement will pave the way for me to become Attorney General and crush any criminal who opposes us. Oh, okay. Crush? There are villains out there who use methods like bribing the jurors or getting witnesses to lie in order to evade legal repercussions for their crimes. They defile the fine city of London. All that rubbish will be reduced to cinders via a legal hellfire. Are you literally gonna set London on fire? It's with that goal in mind that I stand in this office. The police force I've created will protect the Imperial City's honor and future. The look in Lord Vortex's eyes. He's clearly dead serious. Dr. Sith is a trustworthy coroner. The fact that you say she's trustworthy means she's probably not. When the Scientific Investigation Unit is officially established at Scotland Yard, I plan to put her in charge of the unit as my right-hand woman. Oh, returning to the topic of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba.
Yes?
I believe your father should also be in the midst of his nautical journey, headed for the Great British Empire, correct?
Yes. He said he'd be arriving at the beginning of next month.
Do you know him, Lord Vortex? Professor Mikotoba, I mean. Been many years since we last met, but I remember Dr. Mikotoba. Dr. Mikotoba. I believe it was 15 years ago that your father came to study abroad in this country.
It was the year that I was born, which would make it 16 years ago.
The young forensic pathologist Mikotoba and the young Judge Jigoku. You were exceedingly impressed by the steadiness and politeness of the Japanese. I don't intend to say that you're sloppy or ill-mannered. You understand? I didn't say anything. I believe Dr. Mikotoba went to study forensic medicine at one of our major hospitals. London's, St. Antrude Hospital, as I recall. Dr. Sith was also at that hospital at the time.
Does that mean that Dr. Sith also knows my father?
He was acting as a medical assistant at the time. They probably didn't work directly together, but they may have known each other's faces at least. Dr. Mikotoba learned forensic medicine as a research student there for about 6 years. 6 years. That's quite a long study abroad term.
I spent that time in the care of my grandmother.
So he left newborn Susato-san and studied abroad for 6 years, huh?
It seems that there was a lot going on with my family at the time.
Huh?
Perhaps my father needed some time away from Japan.
What? Susato? It looks like there must have been some extenuating circumstances. Lord Van Zieks. Come to think of it, about Lord Van Zieks, I heard there was a case in which his older brother was murdered by a brutal serial killer who targeted nobility and royalty, someone known as the Professor. You Japanese certainly are diligent. You've done your research, haven't you? It's true. Perhaps you could say that it was that case that turned him into the Grim Reaper.
Huh?
What do you mean by that? When his older brother, Klimt Van Zieks, met his untimely death, The younger brother had just graduated from London University and became a prosecutor. Since then, the villains who secured a not guilty verdict in court began to disappear, and certain rumors began to circulate around London at the time. Rumors that Baroque Van Zieks was backed by the ghost of his brother Klimt.
Oh my goodness.
So you're saying that the Grim Reaper is actually the spirit of his brother? I'm not calling him that because every time I say Kermit it sounds like Kermit. Following that, he became a superior figure in London's legal society. Oh, Lord Vortex. Yes. About Dr. Dirtpour's device. We like to investigate it if possible. Are you knowledgeable about science? No. I don't even know such a subject existed until recently. The process of lifting the protection offered by the Special Provision for the Protection of Science and Technology is already underway. Within a few hours, Dr. Sif's Scientific Investigation Unit will likely begin their investigation. Till that time, I suppose I can grant you permission to look at the wreckage.
Thank you very much. Should be able to get a look at the doctor's device now. I'd like to see it as well.
Time's up. Now then. I must be going. I need to get to my next meeting.
Thank you very much for your time.
It was a very important meeting regarding the security at the symposium. The European suits of armor are facing each other and almost seem to be having a staring contest. They kind of give the impression of a pair of guardians, blocking the way to the chief magistrate.
To put it in Japanese terms, perhaps they're kind of like guardian lion dogs in front of a shrine.
I think you could even go with guardian Deva kings. Deva.
Incidentally, my dream is to someday own 2 cats.
This conversation sure took a sudden turn for the heartwarming.
Okay.
There are so many books stuffed in these shelves that I think you could be reborn 5 or 6 times and still not have time to read them all. Has Lord Vortex really read all of these?
Come to think of it, my father has a lot of books in his study that he's never read.
Really?
It's because those book peddlers visit my father incessantly. And my good-natured father ends up buying one after another.
Oh no, Mikatoba! It sounds like those peddlers are intentionally targeting him.
So, perhaps this overwhelming number of books is a sign of Lord Vortex's limitless good-naturedness.
I doubt he'd be able to keep someone like Lord Van Zieks in check with a weakness like that. That's the magistrate's chair. I bet just sitting in it makes you feel so much more powerful.
Do men aspire to work in a setting like this?
Not me. I'm good.
Oh?
Think about it. If you suddenly need to use the toilet, the distance would end up being fatal.
Good point. I suppose anyone who work in a place like this must not have thought about that detail.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Hold on a second. I need to look on this script now.